You should know by now the power of secrets. How events can be changed and even wars won with but the keeping of information. Even the gods know of such power, both benevolent and malevolent. Because of this, when the world was made, this fundamental truth, the power of secrets, was etched into the very fibers of the weave itself. A secret, to some degree, holds magical power. Now, tell me, what do you think the worst thing that can happen is when you learn a big one? A secret that could shatter the current order of the realms. A demon lord's true name, perhaps. The activities of a god that would have them cast down from a pantheon. Maybe even the true origins of an artifact so old and powerful that whole worlds can be reshaped with its use. Now, tell me, knowing what you do know about secrets, what do you think could possibly happen to you when you find one this grand? You see, negative energy is a natural part of this world. It flows into all things to some degree, and quite a few things actually need it, despite how sinister it is. And the universe itself knows the power of a secret, and so too does this energy. The same power that creates most forms of undead understands the importance of secrets. So when a secret this grand and mighty is in fact found out, it may flood the person with a form of dread and shock so large they will be changed forever. In that moment, they shall instantly be turned into something else, an ethereal keeper of this secret, the Alip, a soul bound to either keep or share the secret, depending on what it is, of course, although it is far more common that the Spectre will wish to share it, and unfortunately be very unable to. You see, the secret is what binds them. It acts as a sort of curse in that regard. This is the thing that has turned them in that moment, and like many curses, there is a way to lift it. To share the secret. But it's not as simple as them just telling you, for they can't really talk anymore. Well, I mean they can, but it's more like ghostly wails and howls, and the few that can talk really can't talk about the secret, or are one of the few types that just actively wish to keep their secret, so it's useless to them. But they can do things like motion to something, point to a book, or repeat a word over and over again. The problem is that the secret itself does not want to be shared, and the secret is, technically speaking, the thing that's actually controlling them. So they may get to point at where they learned their thing, but that will be in between its attempts to kill you. I should note that existing in this state is agony. This is pain for them, a torturous unlife where almost all they would want is to end it. Its greatest desire would be to pass on this secret so that its soul could finally be put to rest and it can pass on. But who exactly learns this secret matters quite a bit. See, if the secret is a massive one, let's say the true nature of an otherworldly being, that secrets can only be found within a lost ancient tome hidden beneath a library under the water that has this little air bubble for some reason, and can kill you just for trying to read the book, things get a little bit worse. I know of a few occasions where up to 2, and even 1 occasion where the same secret made 3 of them. However, the person who learns it matters just as much as the secret itself and where they learned it from. For an example, if a commoner with little reach on who they can talk to, or a scholar with no interest in sharing their knowledge, learns something that might turn them into an Alip, they will probably become so. But if, say, a powerful party of adventurers who have connections to some of the most powerful people throughout the land learn something like this, they would probably be fine and free the Alip in the process. How one uses knowledge and information matters just as much as the information itself. There is also the matter of the ones that were created to keep a secret. As rare as they are still worth knowing about. These are ones who willingly signed up to guard the secret. The person in some way wants to do this, perhaps not fully knowing of what they've signed up for. For what reason really does depend, often to guard or preserve the world's order in some way. When I spoke of a secret that would have gods dethroned, there is often a few Allips who are willing to guard said secret, along with whatever else serves that god, of course. When they are formed this way, they will have no desire to share their secret, but will still be destroyed if they fail to protect it. And the few holy gods that approve of or use necromancy may in fact be in charge of safeguarding the secret, or might be the ones making the Alip. But let's move on to another. There are also the ones that act a bit like a curse themselves, those who bind themselves to another in hopes to teach them the secret, whisper it into their ears on where to look and what to read, and often how to do so safely, as many of the things that make these types of Alips are, shall I say, great old ones' true natures, and so if you want them to be understood, you're going to need to be quite careful. When these things happen, it's less of a divine nature thing, and more of just magic itself acting as a force. They are as if magic itself is trying to fix a problem in the universe, or prevent something from getting worse, although as you might expect, they often still end up being quite hostile at around this time, when they are revealed, so to speak. Why this happens with this type of them? This is one of those things that we will probably never really know the answer to, and experimenting with them is not exactly repeatable, it's certainly not safe, and it's sure as hell is not ethical. Right, now I think it's time to move on and talk about their abilities and powers, and let's start with the obvious one. They are an incorporeal. They can pass through walls and objects, provided they are not staying still within them, else they be forced to move out in pain. It is also immune to various effects and ways of being harmed, and really can't be harmed by most things most incorporeal undead can't be. This is the same as always, you know this part. The interesting stuff comes when it attacks, for it can't conventionally, but it is more than capable of being a threat. See, the closer it gets to you, the more your mind is filled with maddening rambles. Secrets of all types and horrors are whispered constantly. It will not swing at you or throw a punch, but rather reach out with a smoky finger, simply wishing to touch your fall. If it does so, your very mind and psyche is what's hurt. It assaults your minds with things you should not know, and that's just when it touches you. When it actually tries to whisper something, that's when things get truly maddening. For if it whispers, it can make around 3 people at once unable to see the world correctly, and will attack something else thinking it is the Alip. It's also capable of screaming a ghastly howl that can incapacitate and stun targets of their choice. This is something that takes a lot out of them, so they shan't be using it constantly, but something as simple as this can in fact win fights, so it's more than worth mentioning. Well, I'd like to move on to my tale of the Alip, for it was one that was actually travelling with me and the party I was with for a few years. You see, there was this warlock called Nezisi. She was the chosen of a great old one, but over the years, as her power grew more and more, so too did the whispers intruding into her mind. Turns out, like many a demon, the knowing of the true name of this great old one gave you power over them, and this Alip, who was once a humble priest, found a long-lost home containing its name. The book, mind you, was made of chitin harvested from creatures known as a Cthulhu, and skin taken from several Durgar. That part's not relevant, I just thought you might like to know that little disturbing detail. Anyway, this Alip sought revenge for their fate, and knew that Nezisi would be the best chance in doing so. So over time, it built its power along with hers, and its whispers grew louder and louder until it burst forward, trying to scream the secret from the top of its lungs. But what made this story funny is the event where the warlock finally became strong enough for this to happen was her own wedding. Now, this gets funny because she not only wanted it to be a small, forgettable little ceremony where only the party were present, but we were also interrupted and attacked by the guards due to a miscommunication. Then after that, we were attacked by pirates looking for a cursed sword our barbarian had, who, funnily enough, he just sort of forgot he had it. He's carrying it with him at all times, and he just sort of forgot it's there. Then, after all of that, did the Alip appear, but at this point she was so fed up with the whole event that she just screamed at the thing, just blurt out your secret and go, and actually I won't repeat the same exact ramble she gave out, because it was downright abhorrent words in a combination I couldn't have conceived of before that lasted almost 5 whole minutes, to the point where everyone was just stunned in place, including the Alip. It was so calmed and taken aback that it just sort of said the patron's true name and vanished. Then she kissed her new husband, and we journeyed the next day to end her patron's control over her. It was certainly an experience. The ceremony was quite nice, although the food was abhorrently rubbish. The Alip is a good example of how what just seems like a human concept at first is, in actuality, the rules of nature itself. To hold a secret is to hold power. Once that is given, it cannot be undone, and all power may in fact be lost, if not used correctly. How one uses such a power is of course up to them, but in many matters like this, there may only ever be one time and place where it can be done correctly. One moment where the secret being told will help and aid, but if it's given to the wrong person, or even at the wrong time, all power will be lost and the moment gone forever. The power in this lies in cunning and guile. But also the big smoky ghost monster that tries to kill you if you share it, so it's not really as subtle as I make it out, I guess. Thank you for listening to my tales. I'm the Ashspawn. Feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me. But, till next time we meet, fellow traveller, have a good day.